It looks like, and then you hit the seventh inning. You have 2 errors, a pass ball, and it looks like even a hit by pitch. Nothing went right for the Astros. The Angels tied it up, but luckily the Astros have King Tuck, Kyle Tucker. He came in and did what he was supposed to do. And we're going to talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, when you're not sleeping, when you can't sleep with the late game, where can you find you at?
Oh, man, why'd you out me like that? You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and at Stros411 at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. Always Stros. Man, Eric, it's one of those games. Golly, it's something about the crowd noise sometimes that just makes you fall asleep. Something about seeing my grandson. Dude, I got to meet my grandson today. My first grandchild, I got to meet him in person. Such a champ. He's going to be the Astros' first-round pick in 2040. He's going to be a left-handed pitcher. He's going to be a stud. Anyways, so I got to meet Avon today. That was great.
Alrighty, today's episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement rings. So use the code Locked On at the checkout. And thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, keep on hitting subscribe button. Brett's going to tell you a little bit later about the little bobblehead promotion we have going on. And we had a lot of people. My phone was blowing up with emails left and right. So we're going to get all those submissions going pretty soon. But make sure you go and subscribe to us, and make sure you listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make us your first listen every day, please. And tell a friend. Tell a friend. Have them tell friend. And let's get this going. And let's get this Locked On Astros podcast all across Houston, because we love talking baseball. And we love talking baseball at 12:33 at night after Astros victory. It was not a pretty game to start off with. The Astros are super lucky because I kind of made a joke on Twitter earlier. It seriously looked like Luis Garcia was playing some type of baseball Squid Games where, that game where you're not supposed to step on a crack or you're going to break your mama's back. And
Right,
it's like he couldn't throw a strike in the first inning or he'll break his mama's back. But it was just like a bad start to, as bad as he was in the first inning. He settled down, but he walked 3 batters in the first inning, and somehow he only allowed 1 run in that inning. And it was a magician artwork there or something, that the fact that only one got across there.
Oh yeah, this is one of those games where this is why you have Luis Garcia. This is why you have a kid that only saw maybe high A ball before he even touched the major leagues. I mean, he is one of your key starters. And when someone like him gets into trouble, this is why Martin Maldonado has value. I'm telling you right now, the Houston Astros, even though Martin has made 2 errors in the last week in 2 different games, almost cost them a second game in a matter of 4 or 5 days, his value is not just seen in the score box or in the box score. His value is off the field. And I was actually in a Twitter space, and Albert actually mentions it here. I don't know if you threw that up there. I was in there talking about Martin Maldonado, and I wasn't necessarily defending his play or his lack of his bat. I was defending his position on the team. And I need to make sure that our listeners understand this. While you may not like his 160 batting average, you may not like these 2 games where he kind of flubbed this baseball, Maldonado doesn't just call games. Maldonado sits in the dugout when you're the hitter next to him and says, your next at bat, you're going to look for this pitch in this sequence. He's pitching you up and inside. Yes, this is the same Almano that doesn't hit 200. And this game could have gotten out of control, but this team never panics. They don't panic. Eric, they had every reason to panic. They had every reason to just let their mental faculties just get lost. And they could have easily lost this game 8-5. I mean, the wheels could have really come off. You get the guy coming in to pitch hit. And he gets that run and it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? 2 hits and 5 runs, 2 errors, a pass ball. And those are the games you're supposed to lose. I mean, the Yankees had the wheels fall off in their 9th inning and they lost to the Reds in Yankee Stadium. So, I mean, things like that happen, but this team is resilient. I do, though, think that leading up to our trade show that we're going to do in a few days, we do need to address some issues, some things that we might need to maybe fill some holes. Matan, I don't have a whole lot of trust in him right now.
To his defense, though, the defense didn't help him out. 2 errors,
You're right.
pass
You're
ball. Right. And yes, he did have that walk, but he didn't allow a hit in that inning. And
that's true. Good point.
I mean, I'm not saying he's blameless in this situation, but the dude, I mean, if you have all the balls, it just looked like Bad News Bears out there, and nobody could throw the ball anywhere. It's just like, and then Jose Altuve, it looked like the Angels tried to get him, like, oh, he didn't touch second base in the 9th inning, and I'm like, I had to look at it again. I'm like, did he miss the bag? Is this going to be another one of those outs on the bases again? But luckily he did touch the base. But it was a great effort. And like you said, they could have fell apart in the first inning, but Luis Garcia, he didn't have the best feel for the stuff in the first inning. But with bases loaded, 1 out, he got the job done. He got the next 2 outs. And the Astros could have given up. I know they gave up 4 unearned runs in the 7th inning, but it could have been a whole lot worse. You had Shohei Itani up at the plate. You ended up walking him, I believe, and Mike Trout had already left the game, but still you could have had he could have come up. Trout was batting before Itani, but that situation could have been a lot worse at that time. So, yes, credit to the Astros for not losing this game, but you can't. I know they scored 2 runs in the first inning, 1 run, 2 runs in the 6th inning, but I like the way they're spreading out the offense, but you got to play better defense, guys. And I think that they're kind of, I don't want to say that they're kind of, oh, we got this game coasting and just like, but Jeremy Pena, okay, get off the bag, grab that throw from Bregman. You don't let it get by you. And I forgot what the other play was, but it's just like a lot of bad defensive plays, and it was just frustrating to watch that 7th inning. It was
so bad. Now I do need to see more runs come across the plate, though. You had 17 runners in scoring position. I'm sorry. You were 4 for 17 with runners in scoring position. You had 10 left on base. That's a 235 average. Now, one thing that I've heard spoken in multiple places, and something that I've been thinking about for a long time, the Astros tend to play down to their competition, but they also play up to their competition. Right. Guess who's not going to be in the playoffs? The bad teams. So I don't think you're going to see debacles like this. I think the PFPs are going to probably hopefully concentrate on that more. And this team has the ability to overcome itself.
Right.
It isn't its own worst enemy in every case. Tonight, Matan should have gone to first. That throw from Bregman was an errant throw. If Matan gets that out, it changes everything that happens after that, right?
Right.
And we've seen pitchers, and I understand the aggressive get the lead runner guy type of thing. Bregman could have easily caught that ball and touched third, got the lead runner. That's your 3 outs. We're not talking about this going into the Angels tying it. The Astros maybe score even more runs than that. Like I said, everything changes if you go back in time and take that one one action out, everything else is going to change after that. The Angels are just one of these teams. I mean, you watch them put Trout and Otani on the field. You watch this organization who actually has a worse minor league system than the Houston Astros. And you got to feel for these Angels fans because they've just got to hope that Otani does something for the first time, that Trout hits 3 home runs, but they always end up losing. Trout's out again with an injury, upper back spasms. I mean, I think that tomorrow's game is going to be the most exciting game. Like you said,
Right.
this will be the game of the series because Otani's doing what? He's pitching and
Yeah.
he's hitting.
All right, so I don't know if y'all saw that Framber Valdez has a new hairdo, and he went out and got a whole bunch of new threads for his All-Star appearance. You know what else he should do? Go to BlueNile.com and get himself some fine jewelry. So let's go ahead and talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
Blue Nile.
So Blue Nile is the original online jeweler to high-income adults, primarily like guys that are 25 and up, looking for great engagement rings, fine jewelry, gifts. But here's the thing. It's not just for high-income adults anymore. They have opened this up so that anybody at any price point can come to them and tell them what they want. You want an engagement ring. You want an anniversary band. You want special earrings for that special someone in your life. You need to go to this place. This is an amazing jeweler that has bench jewelers that are on hand. Okay. When you're looking for wedding jewelry or fine jewelry, they will sculpt you the ring that you want. You give them the clarity, the size, the shape. You give them the setting style, and they will make the ring that you want, the one of one. You know, my son recently got some Nike ID high tops, and they are one of one. They're like, there's no other Nikes like it. But how much better would it be for a engagement ring to be one of one for your special someone to show off to others about the love that you showed them by getting them this gift? Check it out. It is fine jewelry at its finest. What I want you to do is go to BlueNile.com, and Locked On Astros listeners get $50 off their purchase of $50 or of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement rings. So Locked On Astros listeners use the code Locked On. Plus, every order is shipped free. It's insured and arrives in discreet packaging. It won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever peace at BlueNile.com today.
All right, guys, it's the All-Star game this next week. And do you need a place to go watch the All-Star game? Why don't you go check out Hooters at NASA? There's TVs everywhere, so you can watch the game. Whatever, if there's other game you want to watch or at some other sport, go watch it. Eric's favorite is the chicken tenders, and you've got I like the teriyaki. Brett likes the 3 Mile Island buffalo with wings and fries. What's your favorite? Come out and see what all the hoot is about. Come hang out with all the world famous Hooters girls. Anytime the Astros play, or probably during the All-Star game as well, you'll hear all the action because they love the actions just like you love their wings. So come enjoy happy hour, or should we say happy hour specials, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6. They have Hooterades, legendary Ritas, and all your favorite beers on taps. So many drink specials. Don't forget about Thursdays with drink specials all day. Come hang out where the Locked On Astros boys like to hang out and watch the Astros with great grub and beers. Ask them what their featured beers are on tap and tell them that we sent you. It's on I-45 South, exit FM 528 for great wings and the best service from the world famous Hooters girls. And we'll see you out there, and hopefully the Astros will do well in the All-Star game. So,
hey there, how's it going? Thanks for hooking me up on that, Reed. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, Hooters NASA is a great place. You guys need to go there. One of the comments I saw earlier I wanted to kind of touch on is Wesley says MLB needs to change what qualifies for a win or no decision for pitchers. Garcia pitched a great game and has nothing to show for it. Something needs to be done. Now, I don't know you give him a win. I mean, maybe you give him does he get a quality start out of it? If it's 6 innings pitched, I believe he gets a quality start because it was only 1 run. So that is kind of a way to compensate for that. You obviously can't give him a win because they lost the lead after he got out. So the next guy coming in, obviously,
To be the
gets the
winning
win,
pitcher, you have to be on the mound when they
win
have
the
the
lead.
wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
So
yeah, so Hector Neris, who's 2-3 now, got the win. Presley came in and got the save. Here's the thing. Here's my question about using Matan. Okay, Matan pitched on Sunday. Now they had a day off, but you had a fully rested Stanek. Why didn't you throw Stanek? Why didn't you use someone like that? Are you waiting for the game tomorrow because Shohei Otani's pitching? I mean, I don't understand. Like, you had a fully rested bullpen. I would have thought Dusty would have gone with a couple different options. I There are moves that Dusty makes that make me scratch my head. I don't necessarily distrust him because A, I don't have the experience he has. B, I've never been a major league manager.
right.
So I don't necessarily qualify to really be like, well, this is what you have to do every time. But there just seems to be some moves that he makes, maybe too many moves or too soon or not the right person in the right spot. Now, it worked out for the Astros. So what are we complaining about is really probably the topic. But the lead here, I think, is why not go to that fully rested bullpen, give Matan another day. I'm not saying Matan's bad, but I'm saying Matan is not the guy that he was when he was locked down last year, when he was pitching well. He's not dialed in the way he was.
Well, if you look at what he did in April, he was 0-1 with a 4.82 ERA. But in May, he was 0-0 with the 2.13 ERA, and he pitched a lot. And then in June, he was 0-0 with a 5 ERA. So far in July, I don't. I think this is even including. No, this is not including it because his ERA will kind of go down a little bit because he didn't give up any earned runs today. But he has a 3.60 ERA in July. So we tend to remember what the bad stuff that happens. Like, he had a bad game the other day versus the A's. Then he had a bad game versus the Royals. But he's more often than not, he's really reliable. So we tend to remember some of the bad ones. But I think if you're looking at, do you trust Matan in the playoffs? Do we remember the playoffs last year? He was pretty reliable. He was actually the best reliever in the Astros bullpen last year. He turned it up a different gear. So no,
He did.
I don't think they're going to give up on him. What they may do is they may see a need to maybe go out and get another reliever, but they're not going to just say, okay,
No, they're not going to give up on him, but it's like Johnny said recently, he's given up 5 runs in the last 9 games. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
And if you're trending that way and you've got a fully rested bullpen, to me, you have options. And that's, again, we're splitting hairs. We won 6-5. We should have won probably 13-2 or 1. We shouldn't have given up those runs. But what I'm talking about is, I don't know. There are just some situations that you just go, what was the thought process there?
yeah.
Like, okay, for instance, you got Jose Altuve sitting or someone like that. You lead off Mauricio Dubon. What? Like, really? Like, there are moves like that honestly, as a baseball commentator, as a baseball person, like, why are we doing that? And no, I'm not saying trade or sell Matan. I'm not saying get rid of Matan.
Right.
He's not going anywhere. They didn't trade for him to just offload it. Someone said he's basically Yimi Garcia. Like, no, he's not Yimi Garcia. I think he's better than Yimi Garcia. But it is one of those things where, I don't know. I just always wonder why some moves are made. But then again, I'm not the manager, so whatever.
Well, the Astros are actually 3.5 games behind the Yankees for the
Yeah,
number one seeds. And so they're catching up to the Yankees. They are 57-29. I'm going to say something you're probably not going to like. The Astros
Uh-oh.
are fine. They're good.
Oh no! I don't know. And that's the thing. I'm not saying these things because there's, oh my gosh, there's such this urgent need.
Sky's falling.
No, right, and no, and that's where we have to temper this conversation.
Yeah, I know.
We can have a conversation, and we can be critical of certain aspects of what happens in these games without saying that we are, we're doing a Drake McClain and like selling everybody off, because that's not what we're doing.
Yeah. But Luis Garcia threw 26 pitches in the first inning. 16 of them were balls, 13 of them were strikes. That was really, really crazy. But he did manage to last 6 innings in the start. So overall, he had a good game. And I'm really impressed, especially with how bad he looked in the first inning. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. It's amazing how different he can look, just like that. And I think it was just him sitting down, just reflecting on the first inning, and it was just amazing. His ERA is down to 3.65, and Montero, he gave up the hit that allowed another run, but Neris came in and Presley came in, got his 19th save on season. And the Astros bullpen is not foolproof. It's not. It's gonna allow
It's
some.
not, but it is still one of the top two bullpens in the
Right.
major leagues. Remember last year we were talking about the bullpen and what was the problem? The bullpen. Now, Mr. Sahin brings up a great point, great counterpoint. Thank you. This is why I love you guys coming on the show. He says the 4 runs Baton gave up today were all unearned. He induced 2 ground balls that should have been double plays. He's fine. I love that. I love that. That's an excellent counterpoint. And that's why we like interacting with you guys live. Because see, I don't always see everything as it is. It's funny. My driving permit instructor, when I was taking driving school as a high school student, Eric, he wrote, I remember one sentence that he wrote in my evaluation, and it said, Brett tends to not pay attention to detail, meaning there's a lot of things that I miss. And so that's why we go live. That's why we have you guys interact. If you're listening and you haven't checked out our live show, you'll have to do it, because we get your name in, especially when we do this weekend, when we do our trade show. Follow us on Twitter, find us, and give us a trade proposal. We can't go to all of them, and please make it reasonable. Don't say you want to trade Phil Maton for like Juan Soto or something crazy, but give us your trade proposal. Like, who do you want out there? Do you want Ian Happ? Do you want Andrew Benintendi? Do you want Andrew Chafin? Who do you want out there? And we'll discuss those trades. I'm going to study up on who's being offered, what the values are, offering picks versus pros, and we'll have a fun time. So check us out on YouTube, please, if you haven't done that.
It's a bad time right now because the Astros are without Michael Brantley and Yordan Alvarez right now. So everybody's going to be like, oh, panicking. We need to get this. We need to get this. We need to get this. We need to get everybody. But I think the Astros are going to be just fine. In fact, if you me, I'm going to bet that Astros are going to do what they need to do at the trade deadline, and they're going to make the right bet and put their chips in where they need to. So let's talk about Bet Online.
So betonline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports development, league reviews, and news, including this year's Major League Baseball, the All-Star Game, heck, the Home Run Derby. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And betonline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Whether it's the LIV Tour or the PGA Tour. Gosh, there's 2 tours now, so check that out. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
You can't always replace Yordan Alvarez, but apparently the American League team did. They replaced him with JD Martinez today, so that's a replacement there. And if you're looking at the home run derby squad, you've got Acuna, then you have Pete Alonso, then you have some guy on crutches, not crutches, but the little walker. Albert Pujols and a couple other guys, but it's weird that nobody from the American League has signed up to do the home run derby yet. It's going to be somebody Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and it's good. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Judge does it, but I'm sure the Yankees will be like, no, we wanted to save you for the Astros.
Is that what's going on? I was like, is this a mystery? Like, to me, the home run derby is already a fail. Jordan's not in it. Albert Pujols is in it. I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing?
Oh,
Is
Kyle
this
Schwarber is in it too. Yeah.
is this is going to turn into some like MTV Raps versus MTV Headbangers Ball, like home run derby celebrity softball game? I mean, what's next? Kevin Hart's going to be an entrant into. I mean, this is a joke, guys. Come on, you know what though? I'm glad this is happening in LA. Oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about
Right.
the LA concession workers?
I saw somebody say something. If you're going to
So
pay millions of dollars for players, you should go and pay your concession stands. But I
So
don't see what's
they
going on.
so, so they are part of a union, and they have threatened to strike during the All-Star game festivities, the Futures game, the Home Run Derby, the All-Star game, meaning if you go to the All-Star game this next week, you may not be able to get a hot dog, a hamburger, a Coke, a beer, or anything because the construction workers, the concession workers may be on strike. And I'm like,
They're going to get
this all
replacement players.
this all-star weekend is turning out to kind of be a little bit of disaster. Now you hate that for people because we've got friends that are going to the home run contest, they're going to the all-star game, they want to go to a game in Dodger Stadium. But yeah, there's just so many weird things happening around this all-star game this year.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of baseball fans that would love to volunteer to work the concession stands just to be at
Oh, I'll
the
do it.
home
Hey,
run.
give me some airfare. I'll work the stands. I'll throw some pretzels at people or whatever they do. But Pete Alonso, I agree. Pete Alonso is my pre home run derby pick. He's going to win his third title. He's my favorite non-Astro. I hope he crushes the baseball in Los Angeles.
Thoughts by Dusty.
They say there's no such thing as an ugly win, but that wasn't pretty.
Hold on. He said they say there's no such thing as an ugly win, or there
Mhm.
is such thing.
He said they say there's no such thing as ugly win, but that wasn't pretty.
Okay, hold on. Who says that? There's ugly wins all the time, bro. Like really? Like come on.
I don't
Does
know.
he does he just try
That's
to
what
be
Chandler Rome said.
philosophical? Oh, that's so funny that he would say that. No, and I caught some of his press conference when I went to go get some water here a second ago, and he's like, "Look, they had 2 hits and scored 5 runs.
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna do?"
Dusty Baker also said that Stanek was available, but the Astros liked Matan better against the left-handed hitters in the Angels order. Okay. Also going with the thoughts by Dusty, Justin Verlander is not with the Astros in Anaheim. He's dealing with a family issue, and he's probably
No, wait,
gonna
who's this? Who's this
Justin
again?
Verlander.
Okay.
Justin Justin Verlander is dealing with a family issue, and he's not going to be in Anaheim, and he's also not going to probably pitch in the exhibition All-Star game like we talked about the other day.
Oh,
But he's probably going to pitch in Saturday's game against the A's. So, um,
interesting. Okay.
and I knew that was the case. I mean, the Astros have been super protective over Verlander, pushing his starts back, giving him extra days. So why would Dusty Baker, if he's the manager, be like, yeah, I'll go ahead and pitch you an All-Star game. It's not like you've been there before. Now, if it was the
Right.
Yankees manager, oh, yeah, Justin, we're going to go ahead and start you, pitch you 3
5
innings.
innings. We're gonna blow your arm out. No. And that's why yesterday I think my counterpoint was I just wanted to see him in that first inning against, in Dodger Stadium, but it makes more sense. Now, I don't want to trivialize why he's away or say that they're using this as like a phantom excuse. There may be something seriously going on, and we hope if that's the case, we hope that everything's okay. We hope that's nothing serious. There are ways, though, within the rules of baseball to hide players. I mean, Taylor Jones, he's not hurt. He's on the 60-day IL. He moved over, though, because I opened a spot. That's how Jake Myers is here. There are ways to jostle chess moves that you can make in baseball. Baseball's pretty intricate like that, and a lot of people don't know those details.
Yeah. And Dusty Baker also on Sports Talk 790 today said that on Alvarez, he said the imaging showed no further damage to his hand. he's doing good. Hopefully he'll be back for the Yankee series. So they still won't confirm what's going on. They're just saying there's no further damage. So that's great. And then also on Michael Brantley, he said that Michael Brantley is improving. He's supposed to start swinging today. It'll be his first day swinging. Hopefully we'll have Michael back after All-Star break too. So that's good. And also we had Lance Mccullers. He threw 2 simulated innings today, threw about 37 pitches. He has another 2 inning live on Saturday, after which the team will decide what to do next.
Yeah, so that is something. I mean, all these timelines are literally to be determined, like supposed to be in July, supposed to be in August. And so we just won't know until we actually see them out there. If Lance says he's healthy, but he's tired after 30, 32 pitches, but the Astros are still being cautious with him, there's just no telling what's going on, with this forearm strain. And hey, on the positive side with Forrest Whitley, the injury that he came out of the game for the other day, the inflammation of the shoulder, is a typical injury that falls in line with post Tommy John surgery pitchers. So because of what he's gone through and the work he's had done on his arm and stuff, this is typical. And so they're saying it's actually not bad news for Whitley. Honestly, I really don't think you see Whitley this year. Oh, get this. Friend of the show, Jimmy Endersby, who I just talked to last week at the Hooks game, was called up to the Space Cowboys today. What?
Sorry,
And
Johnny.
so,
Johnny really does not like Matan.
I know he doesn't. I'm trying to ignore Johnny because I don't want to blow up, I don't want him to blow a gasket. But Eric, here's the thing. So they moved up Jimmy Endersby. That's another
Okay.
starting pitcher who needs a spot. I think that the emergence of Hunter Brown will happen post All-Star game. I don't know if it's right after the All-Star game, but it's going to come at some point, especially if Lance McCullers has an extended period of time for him to come back. And if they're not wanting to stretch him out, they may need Hunter Brown to come in there to save some innings from the other starters.
I think Hunter Brown is going to be a piggyback type pitcher. He's going to come in and do that type of thing, and long reliever, something like that. So the one good thing, I mean, I hate to see Mike Trout, one of the best players in the game, leave, but he has been in his last 13 at bats. He has 11 strikeouts against the Astros or something like that. It's just crazy how it's like the Astros are his kryptonite all of a sudden. And one of the best players in the game, he can't hit Astros pitching all of a sudden. But the Astros are just playing at a different level right now. And one positive note to kind of end the show on, the Astros have 30 wins on the road this season, which is the most in baseball. So
Nice.
Now today's matchup with Shohei Itani versus Christian Javier, this is going to be the marquee matchup. Today's game was, as Dusty Baker said, was ugly. It was ugly or not pretty or whatever he said, but I think tonight's game is going to be great to see. And I do like the fact that Shohei Itani is not leading off anymore. I think he's better hitting third in the order. So,
and on another positive note, the Baltimore Orioles have found their way to 500.
oh, I saw that.
And the NL East has every team in their division over 500. We have 2 teams over 500, ourselves in Seattle, but 57 wins, Eric. We are 3 away from 60. We are 3.5, like you said earlier, outside of the New York Yankees. And I like our position. I do not see, as hot as the Seattle Mariners have been, I do not see them catching us. I know they've won 8 in a row. I know they're 9-1 in their last 10, but you got to look at their competition. They have 1 more loss than they do wins on the road, and we've got Seattle this month. We'll play them several times. The Astros' place is secured in the West. Now, the real story is, do we end up first or second in the American League?
We play 7 out of 10 games against the Mariners, and that could be a big swing vote. So don't get a little. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but just let's not count the Yoshis before they hatch. So,
well, let me tell you something. I am counting all the Yoshis before they hatch because we will dominate against the New York teams. Are you trying to cancel me? We went
Yes,
7-2. We went 7-2 versus the best two New York teams in the country. Okay? We're playing the Mariners. They're not going to take more games than us. We are going to win. So we play them in 9 games, you said?
10 games. I think it's
10
7 out of
games?
10 games or 7
Okay.
or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, if we play them 10 times, we're winning 7 of those games. I'm just going to call it right now.
7 out of 10 games after the Yankees. That's how many times we're playing. So, yeah. So that's a big swing. But that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back tomorrow after another late night edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name's Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are your team every day, the Locked On Astros podcast. Go Astros.